Hey, this is Rob Anspach, and welcome back to another edition of eHeroes. Today, we're going to talk about building a culture of excellence. And I brought on a former Disney act. Now, you guys know I'm a big Disney fan, and I've interviewed other Disney personnel before. Now, Barry's a little different, and so please bear with us. And I think you guys are going to get some great stuff out of this. So welcome, Barry Jacobson, and thanks for being here.
Great to be here, Rob, and thanks for having me on. And yes, I did spend many years with the Mouse and some other organizations, but I love helping people and helping people understand that you got to build a culture of excellence to be successful.
You know, the first time I took my family to Disney in, I guess, 2000. Now we've been back, dozens of times since. But the very first time we went to Fort Wilderness, and one of the bus drivers, as soon as we got on the bus driver, he goes, "Welcome to the biggest human trap operated by a mouse." And I thought, are you allowed to say that? And it was, to me, that was the greatest thing, because he was making a joke of the whole thing, but he really did value his job, and he really did appreciate being there. And it was just that it is a human trap. And I think that
Yeah.
you know we, as a culture of entrepreneurs, I think we lose that human sense when we're trying to build this culture of who we are and what we do.
And really, your culture is who you are. It's the behaviors, it's the values, it's what you should insist upon in order to deliver a great guest, fan, member experience, patient experience. And Disney does that quite well. And I did work at Fort Wilderness, so I'm quite familiar with that spot. And I loved it because what I liked about what happened in your situation is we wanted to create that folksy kind of fun atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised you didn't say howdy, because that used to be how we would greet all the guests. And I loved it. And I was in charge of the trailer check-in area, the campsites, and housekeeping. And there was a train when I was still there. The train doesn't run anymore. The bus system, the bike barn, the kennel, the nighttime campfire program. I was in heaven, and people that go camping are just the kindest, most fun people. And so, to your point, the culture there is a little different, and it's relaxed, it's folksy, it's warm, it's like you would want to be in a campground.
Yeah, I've been to many of the resorts at Disney, and I always compare it to Fort Wilderness. And it's night and day, because you go to Fort Wilderness and you just feel like you're miles away from Disney, even though you're on Disney property. But then you go to the Contemporary, the Polynesian, and it feels different, but even the Poly feels like it's manufactured to be on Disney property, where Fort Wilderness feels like a world away.
Yeah, I think they did a great job in carving out that beautiful place in the woods. And each resort, each experience at Disney is all intentional. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's all the little small details that immerse you in that theme of the hotel, the theme of each land, and in each one of the theme parks. And Walt wanted it to be intentional. He wanted everything to be different. In fact, when one of my favorite stories about Walt was when he told his wife, Lillian, that he wanted to operate a theme park. And this is back in the 50s, when most amusement parks were horrible. They were dirty. They were filthy. She said, "Why do you want to do that? They're horribly filthy." And that's exactly what he said back to her was, "That's why I want to do it. I want it to be different." So we talk about being deliberately different in a business. What's going to set you apart from everybody else is how you deliver on the guest experience, how you train, how you're consistently doing it. And all of us end up at places that we go to, and inevitably most fail. They don't insist upon that consistency, and that's what I call a hidden Mickey. You got to be consistent every single day, and that's very difficult to do unless you do some of the little tricks that I can help with or talk about today that will really help you and your business think differently.
Yeah. You know, one of my early jobs was working at a grocery store. I was a bagger, and this is going back to 1984. And the owner at the time, I mean, he's been since deceased, but he was a really nice guy. But all the baggers even had to wear ties, and we had to wear, dress pants, and he was creating this culture of kind of respect. Well, the new owners now, and my youngest son now works at the same grocery store. No ties, just a collared shirt. All the kids now have their individuality. You walk into the store, it's completely different. It just there's no respect to the elderly. I mean, you want your bags, your bags put in your car, go do it yourself, and it's to me that it's just a way to kill your business really quickly.
Indeed, and especially if you're, I feel the same way. If you were to walk into, Target, and all of a sudden everybody decided to wear blue instead of red, right? Wait a minute, what happened? I'm used to seeing that big red circle and everybody in red, and I can easily identify a Target team member. Mm-hmm. Same with Disney, name tags, right? It's everyone wears one, whether you're front facing with a guest or backstage, as we call it, working at the Disney Reservation Center. Why? There's always a why behind it. And the same with your grocery store example. Mm-hmm. It was to be professional. It was to show that we are polished. We're different than anywhere else that you go to get a grocery store. I mean, think about back in the day when someone used to pump your gas, right? Mm-hmm. There's a few of those stations left that provide that next level service. And so, I think, and since, we had the unfortunate pandemic, we've got to stop using COVID as an excuse.
Right.
We've got to get back to delivering service excellence. We can't say no. I think no is a terrible word in the world of service. I went to a restaurant this weekend with my daughter and wife, and I wanted to switch out the burger, the ground beef, for a piece of grilled chicken. The young man said, I don't know if we can do that. We've been really careful in the kitchen because substitutions cause a problem. I'm like, okay, I've been to this place a million times. Yeah. So I said, okay, well, if you can't do it, just come back. I'll order something else. Comes back. We're going to be able to do it this time. But the management wanted me to tell you that we may not be able to do this in the future. We may not be able to handle it. And we just wanted to let you know. And I'm like, wow, what? Are you kidding me? I didn't ask for anything unique or different. I just didn't want the ground beef. I'm trying to, be a little healthier in my old age. But people have to look at their business today and think, how can I deliver superior service? And it really does start with people and a common purpose. Why do you get up every morning? First of all, hire great people. Don't settle for people that don't have great attitudes, that are friendly, that match your culture, right? That understand before they walk in the door who you are and what you represent. And then secondly, why do you come to work every day? Sure, business is in business to make money, but that's not where it starts. And Disney is very specific about that. It really starts with our cast members, our employees, giving them the tools and the training they need, setting true examples of what the expectations are for behaviors and holding them accountable. And then secondly, it's to make the guest happy. That's our common purpose. Every day, wake up. And even my job as an executive was make my team happy, make the guests happy, make the club members happy, make the fans happy when I was with the Cowboys. And then last but not least, be consistent in quality. Mm-hmm. And then on the other end of the stick is the profit. If you do the first three correctly, you're going to build your business, you're going to build your brand, you're going to build loyalty. And those are the things that I think make a difference for businesses today.
Yeah. Now with your Disney experience, you also helped open Club 33.
I did. Yes.
And to me, that was, I think that was Walt's ultimate vision of bringing celebrities inside the magic in Disneyland. And now they're bringing it inside Disney World. I think what, 3 or 4 locations.
Yes.
To me, every time I go in, I'm like, where is it? Where is it? I'm looking, and I discovered it at 2 different places. I haven't been to Epcot in years. The kids just aren't interested, and so I don't know where it is at that location, but the one at Animal Kingdom looks impressive.
Yeah, they're all very unique and different. And so, you're right. Before Walt passed away, he had a vision of creating a space in Disneyland to host celebrities, partners, and others to kind of give them a little VIP treatment, or have a place where his sponsors and people that have helped him build that beautiful dream in 1955. And he didn't get it accomplished, but his team knew that he wanted to do it. So they found a spot in New Orleans Square. And, in order to get, people always wonder, why is it called Club 33? There's a lot of rumors. Oh, there were 33 original sponsors of Disney World, or Disneyland, sorry. But that's not the case. They needed a place to deliver food and beverage, in particular alcohol. And they had to have a street address. So in New Orleans Square, they called it Rue 33, Rue meaning street in New Orleans. And that's why it's called Club 33. So Disney World, after 50 something years and seeing the success of Club 33 at Disneyland, decided to build these exclusive guest access clubs. Of course, there's an initiation fee to join and an annual stipend to be a member. And they're hidden, to your point, one in Animal Kingdom, one in Epcot, one in Hollywood Studios, and one in the Magic Kingdom. And the membership is currently full. People have joined, and the membership is full. And they are beautifully designed by our Imagineers to create these unique themes, each one uniquely different, each one with different china, glass, and silverware, each one with different menus, and very special places in the theme parks.
And see, that's to me that's the kind of the ultimate culture within a culture. You're developing this membership only kind of extra thing that people can do while they're in the park. Because not only do most of these members of Club 33 have an annual membership, but now they're paying this annual fee to join. And I think that's where we're going. I think as entrepreneurs, we need to realize that there are people that follow us who, no matter what we charge, are willing to pay that extra price.
And I think it's all about the experience. Disney for years continues to raise admissions prices, but they continue to deliver value. Anyone who has been to the Magic Kingdom and seen what we call the Kiss Goodnight, the fireworks, and that projection on the castle, it is worth, to me, a long-time Disney guy, the price of admission. I've seen a lot of things at Disney, but when I first saw the castle show at the Magic Kingdom, I was blown away, because the president of Walt Disney World says, "Have you seen it yet? This is the first iteration of it." I go, "No, I haven't been yet. I've been busy. You need to get over there and see it." And I was mesmerized. I was so proud of the company. So I think that, to your point, Rob, organizations need to create experiences, and people will come back again and again. And it's everywhere, even in healthcare. How do you make me feel? Certainly, you're going to fix my broken arm, and you're going to do your surgeries, and you're going to, deliver medications to make me feel better when I'm in a hospital or in a doctor's office. But the experience behind that, when you first walk in, "Good morning, may I assist you?" "Oh, your last name is Anspach." Oh, you've been here before. So great to see you. "Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling well," or "Your doctor is going to be with you in a few minutes. Please have a seat." Instead of what could happen is, "I need your ID and your insurance card, please, and have a seat. We'll be with you as soon as the doctor's available." Okay. And then how do they make you feel when they bring you back? How do they take care of you? And when you leave after you've paid, the deductible and whatever your insurance doesn't cover, which, we all end up paying something, because healthcare is expensive, just like going to Disney World is expensive. Does anybody say thank you? Does anybody say have a great day? Does anyone say we hope not to see you next time? We hope you feel better. Does someone call you at home? Let's say God forbid you have COVID or the flu or something, or you've broken your arm and we had to put a cast on it. Maybe 24 hours later, Mr. Anspach, how are you feeling? Mm-hmm. That is the difference. So how you make people feel. And, at Disney, our job is to make you feel happy. Certainly, we take you away from the day-to-day. Disney has an environment that's so unique and so different, no different than many other theme parks. But it's just those one simple things that set you apart from others, and that is creating a great experience.
Yeah. I mean, in January when we were there, we stayed at the Art of Animation. It was the first time we stayed there. And, a lot of the restaurants that we frequent weren't open. And so I'd go to the guest, the desk there, the guest relations. What do you recommend? And the guy, he point blank, he said, I realize that some of these restaurants aren't open. He says, but, DoorDash and Uber Eats do deliver to the resort. Have you tried them? And I'm like, no, I wanted to eat here. But that's what we did. We ordered a couple times through these services. And, I really wanted to give my money to Disney because I want them to bring back the employees. They can't. So they gave me an alternative. Was it just as good? No, but it was, a different experience, I would call it.
And I think the great thing about that story is the cast member was being transparent. Many of the restaurants are closed. Getting reservations in Disney dining is not the easiest thing in the world unless you plan it out way in advance. And he knew rather than send you on a wild goose chase or find you something, first he should have found a restaurant at Disney. That's what I would have done. But he was being honest. And, certainly he understood the challenges that are going on, as you and I talked about earlier, in many businesses. It's staffing, it's a lack of product because of distributors having challenges. We're out of chicken wings everywhere, apparently, and out of chicken. So there's a lot going on in the world right now that's causing a lot of angst. But if you can just be present every time you speak to somebody, that one-on-one interaction, be authentic, be who you are, and then be intentional about everything you do from your end-to-end experience with a warm smile, a kind tone, and a helpful nature. You'll be great. And people will overlook some of those things that are happening now in our world that are a little tense. And I'd rather know up front from a server, let's say in a restaurant, I just want to be very truthful with you. We are so shorthanded. Food may come out a little slower. We all read it in the paper. We know it's happening. Be honest with me from the beginning. And our menu is limited now because we can't get products in, or we've reduced our menus so we don't put so much burden on the kitchen staff. Be honest right from the get-go, and I'll understand that, if I wanted something unique and different, or if I wanted something off the menu that's always been there, let's say they don't have their baker. That's a problem. So the peanut butter pie is not going to be there that I truly want. And so those are the kind of things that are happening out there. But honesty, transparency, it's just important in business.
So let's talk about you. I mean, you left Disney. Now you're on your own. You're doing your own thing. And so how do you help clients?
Yeah, I've had some really great fun since I've left Disney after 37 years. My last project, as you mentioned, was Club 33 and Golden Oak, the private home community, as well as I had spas and salons. And what I do is really go out and spend time with organizations, first understanding their business, spend a lot of time understanding what they do, and inevitably I discover that they want help in delivering on the the employee experience and the customer experience. And everybody has different names. It's employees, it's teams. In one instance, changed the name of some employees out in a healthcare company to care team members. Kind of sounds like cast members, but they're there to care for others. And so they loved it. And so what I talk about a lot is, as we said earlier, is that common purpose. What drives you every single day to come to work? We talk about your brand and protecting your brand. Your brand is your identity, and you must protect it. I think Elastigirl said that as well. In The Incredibles, I have a slide that shows Elastigirl saying, "Your brand is your identity. You must protect it." So with the mask and stuff. But and people resonate obviously with Disney and Disney characters, but your team members need to understand that they represent your brand both while at work and after work. And at Disney, being an old Disney guy, I started there in 1977 as a lifeguard. When we decided to allow cast members, for cost reasons, to wear their costume home and launder it and bring it back in, that was really hard because I think it takes away from the magic.
Yeah.
And but I understand it. So you got to. But again, when they're out there and they happen to have a costume on, their name tag is off, they're still representing the brand. They still can't behave in a way. We were all told, when you're out in the public, you're still part of our brand. And I think that's important. You don't want to be talking about your organization sitting at a table in a restaurant or sitting next to somebody on a bar stool and berating that organization, because someone's going to say something and it's going to go right through. So we talk about brand. We talk a lot about setting expectations. That starts in the hiring process prior to bringing people into your organization. That job posting needs to be very clear on expectations. And in that interview, I think it's important to try to understand what makes that person tick. You want somebody with a great attitude. We can teach you how to be a cashier at a retail store or in a grocery store. We can give you the skills to be on a headset at a call center. But if you're not a genuine, friendly person and you don't have a great attitude, we need to check you off the box. Now, I know labor market is difficult, but you know what? At Disney, we set expectations way in advance. And when you get into that casting building, there's an exit door when you walk in. And back in the day, no facial hair. You showed up with a mustache. Well, you know what? You're going to have to shave that before you can start work. And by the way, here's another real difficult thing at Disney. I want you to smile. If you can't smile, if you can't be happy, there's the door. And then when we hire you, we set expectations way in advance. And so I like to do that with businesses and, get the right people. Certainly there's a lot of people you have to hire with technical skills, but think about even a chef that you hire. Do they have passion behind their food? One of my favorite interviewing questions is, I'm coming to your house for dinner. What are you going to make me? Now, if that chef says, well, tell me what kind of food you like. I say Italian. And he says, well, okay, I'm going to make you a salad, spaghetti and meatballs. And for dessert, I'm going to give you an amaretto mousse. Now, that does not excite me. Now, if I get a chef who says, I'm going to make you my 3-day Nona's sauce, which in Italian is grandmother, and she uses San Marzano tomatoes, and she uses a piece of pork to get the fat in the sauce. And he starts telling me all that. And then the salad. And then, I'm going to make house-made pasta. And I'm going to put this sauce, and the meatballs are going to have 3 different kinds of, beef, pork, and veal in it. And for dessert, of course, I'm going to make my Aunt Stella's cannolis. Okay, that's the guy I want, because he's got passion behind what he is doing. He understands the essence, because that's going to go from the kitchen and translate out to the guests out there. Mm-hmm. So, we talk a lot about those kind of things no matter what business it is. It's hiring great people. It's training them. giving them the tools they need to do their job. It's treating them well, and then it's communicating with them well. Most businesses fail to communicate and tell people the why behind what you're asking them to do. Mm-hmm. And then if you make a change, change is difficult. We're changing technology. Well, why are you doing it? Just don't say, oh, tomorrow we're starting a new computer system. So those are the kind of things I do in my business.
Yeah, this morning I received a quote, and it said, "Don't be held hostage by your employees." And I kind of I thought about that, and I'm like, if you hire the wrong person, they're going to walk all over you. And Disney is one of those companies that will not negotiate. You're not doing what they tell you to do, you're out, you're gone. And I think that we need to be able to, as entrepreneurs, we need to be able to say, okay, you're a right fit, you're not a right fit, you're a right. If we don't start, selecting the ideal, employee, they're gonna they're gonna hold us hostage, and that's not, I see so many entrepreneurs folding their business because they hired the wrong people.
It's interesting you say that, because I'm doing a project right now with a major National Hockey League team. And we're putting together common sense videos, 15-minute videos for juniors and seniors in college. The things they don't train you on or teach you and educate you on in school. And one of those is values and behaviors. Mm-hmm. And we're telling them, know what your values are, know what you like, what your behaviors are, and align those behaviors with the culture of the organization you're going to work for. So if you're not in the hospitality type of an attitude, friendly and caring and present, maybe you ought to not consider going to work for Disney or Marriott or Hyatt or another theme park or a restaurant chain. Figure out what you are as a human being, and when you go to look at companies, know their culture, because you may not fit in. You might find yourself in the wrong place. So those are the kind of things I'm working on, having a lot of fun. It's really opportunities to help others create better experiences for people.
And I think right now, though, some companies are kind of, what's the word I want to use? They're looking at the culture right now, what's happening, or and they're saying, okay, how can my internal culture in my business evolve? And maybe evolve is not the right word, but I look at Disney and their new policy about tattoos and piercings, and to me, I don't know. My kids have tattoos. I don't. I've never been a big fan. I know that they can, bring about, some personality. I think Walt's kind of, turning in his grave with this new policy, but maybe it's a plus. I don't know.
Yeah, I think every business has to evolve. Our world has certainly changed to make sure we're more inclusive, which I'm fully a fan of. Diversity, to me, I'll take a phrase from a former Disney executive: diversity is the essence of creativity. We've got to have different minds, different people. I think Disney's smart. There's still guidelines. You can't have, the tattoo that is not tasteful.
Right.
Maybe, having, Eeyore as a tattoo is okay, but having, skulls, maybe skull and crossbone for Pirates of the Caribbean, but, we're smart about it. It's very, again, going back to Walt, intentional. So I happen to know one of the HR leaders who was behind working on this, and we have been talking about it and working on it for years, because we wanted to make sure we were inclusive in our hiring processes and inclusive in the type of individuals we hire. So I think you can change, but again, the why.
Right.
Certainly there's purists like me, Disney folks, I don't want to see the tattoo. I want everybody to have the Barry Jacobson All-American Boy haircut. uh, and But that's my vision of Main Street USA, and it evolves. And as our country has evolved, we have a unique, diverse population, and we need to make sure we follow that same trend.
Yeah. So how do people find you? Where do they go?
I'm on LinkedIn. I have my own website, barryjacobsonconsulting.com. If you look at my website, you'll see some of the things I've done and some of the great opportunities I've had in my career. Really, at the end of the day, I have a speech. It really is about caring for others, and I learned that from my mom, who was the consummate host in our house. I was fortunate enough to have roles in my life that allowed me to have this sense of being that allows me not to settle for the ordinary, but to settle for the extraordinary and excellence. And that's what I try to do. I try to help people understand that everybody has a role in their job. You might be a street sweeper at Disney, or taking tickets, or being the guy who's in charge of Club 33. But ultimately, my purpose every day is to come to work and make people happy. Yeah. And so that's kind of what I do. And so, I'm happy to help others. And, it's been a great pleasure to, chat with you, Rob.
My biggest thing right now is trying to just be my true self, and being sarcastic. For many, many years, I hid that sarcasm. So I didn't include it in a lot of my books. Well, the last, 4 books, the Rob Versus series, is my sarcastic take on scammers, on customer service, on humanity itself during COVID, and all this entitlement thinking, and some people get it, some people don't. But my whole goal is to make people laugh, to to get a life lesson out of that laughter. And I still am a caring guy. It's just, there's just certain people that I want to do business with, and some people I use the books as rejection marketing. And if they offend you, you're never going to be my client. If you like the books, you're going to shell out big bucks for me, and we're going to be great friends. you know and that's the kind of culture that I want to leave, and sort of my legacy. And Walt was a great inspiration on me, and that's why I think a lot of my interviews over the course of the last few years, I've brought on people that have interacted or worked or had some, you know uh, history with Walt Disney, and I think that they are one of the greatest teachers that I can have on this show, because everybody wants to Disneyfy their business, you know but I think that the creating that culture is so much better than just copying what Disney does. You gotta start, for a reason, and that reason has to be behind your own personality, putting it into your business, and you have to be true to yourself.
Clearly, and it starts with leadership. It starts with leadership, telling everyone this is where we're going. A particular a company that I'm working with in healthcare, they want to be known not only for being the best in their clinical care, but they're the best in patient care, patient experience. Okay, that's what that leader, that CEO has to tell everyone in the organization, this is where we're going. And if you want to be on this bus, get on. If you don't, you got to get off. Mm-hmm. And to your point, you're who you are. You're setting your culture, but really, that's what you want to do. You want to tell people. And sometimes, Walt wasn't the easiest guy to work for, but he had standards, and he set the bar very, very high. And he didn't want to hear the word no. He wanted to push and push and push for excellence. Bob Iger, the same way. If you stop innovating, you die. That's in his book, right? So he keeps pushing and pushing. And we all knew that. And then we had people on our team who didn't get that.
Right.
and they didn't take risks, and they didn't go that next step for the guest experience or the employee experience. And when I did events for Disney, I used to tell people it's like putting the space shuttle up. Every event has to be excellence. There's no margin for error. That's pretty hard to do, how to be perfect. But if you do an event for Michael Eisner or Bob Iger or the board of directors, you got to get all the people around you, and this starts with leadership, marching in the same direction, right? They got to understand what the deliverable is, and they have to execute. Now, you also look for, wait a minute, that's not going to work, or there's a problem. Now, if something does happen, no one's going to see it because you planned and you organized and you executed, but you were intentional from the beginning. You told the people why. You said, look, it is Michael Eisner or Bob Iger, but you know what? I really don't want to lose my job. And we joke about it, but we were proud to deliver excellence. And that's where I think, one of the things I talk about, people plus purpose plus pride plus place equals profit, right? All the things. People are important. You got to have a common purpose. You got to have pride in everything you do. Your place has to be in order. Do those 4 things. That's an equation for profit, and you'll be successful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Disney has set things up for profit. I mean,
company's doing well.
Yeah, it's and granted, I think every company had gone through some problems during COVID. I mean, we didn't. We were super busy because everybody needed marketing help, which was great. But when you look at the culture that Disney has created, and then you look at some of the businesses out there that have kind of emulated that culture, taken it further, Starbucks, Apple, they have their own culture that's different than Disney. But, you see a lot of Starbucks at Disney right now. I mean,
yeah,
it just, I think those.
Well, Starbucks is Starbucks is a perfect example. They're not selling coffee.
Yeah.
They're selling an experience in the morning where they make you feel great. Good morning. How's your day going? What do you want to start with? They've told their employees, yes, you're selling coffee, but your job is to make people feel ready to go and start their day. And that's part of their training. And that's why, 99% of the Starbucks are doing so well in that manner, right? Go ahead and start with your order. Wait a minute, you forgot to say good morning. Forgot to say, gosh, it's early this morning. Why are you in at 5:30, Barry? So it'll happen from time to time. And believe me, it happens at Disney from time to time. But what we do is if there is a problem, we fix it. We don't allow it to continue. And, you have to constantly be improving, constantly looking at things that go wrong, and you got to address them. You just can't let them fester. I'm working with a particular client that has a call center problem. It was a call center problem in October of 20, and it's a call center problem today. That is the first place where people get on the phone and get a good greeting, and you have to be staffed appropriately to handle volume. And we got to fix that first. And they're on their way to fixing it. They've got all the right people in place to do it.
One of my pet peeves is live chat. And, we all have phones. Okay, so when we get on the phone or when we get on that website and there's a live chat and it says, okay, and you ask a question, that question should not exceed more than, 3 conversations. Once that happens, ask them to pick up the phone and talk to a live person, because the other day I was on live chat for almost 2 hours and it kept getting disconnected and they'd reconnect me. And I'm like, can someone just call me? No, we have to do it this way. I'm like, I'm going to shoot myself. This is horrible.
Yeah. It is frustrating. And, the IVRs that when you do say something and it doesn't recognize what you're asking, make it easy. So that's another thing we talk about it, make it easy for your customers to do business with you.
Yeah.
And so another thing, I'll take it from an old leader that I used to have, vice president of resorts at Disney. He used to say, inspect what you expect. Inspect what you expect. Go out and look at your business. What is it that's happening that end to end? What are the things that are the glitches that make it difficult for your employees? So, for example, the one company, when I first called their call center, I was on 23 minutes on hold. I went from number 32 in the queue to number 28, to 19 in the queue. It was a disaster. And so I was on hold for 23 or 28 minutes. And, those are the things that you got to know are happening in your business. You got to go out and look at it. You got to make sure that if you own a restaurant, how easy is it to get a reservation? When's the last time you ate a steak in your restaurant or had a piece of fish and looked at the plate and you looked at the things that we're serving our guests? And do you know that consistently that burger is coming out exactly the same? If it comes with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, mustard, ketchup, mayonnaise every single time, and they forget it, what's happening here? So my advice to entrepreneurs is get in your business. I always talk about don't manage from behind your desk. And you can't. You got to get out there. You got to see it. And I don't care what business it is. What do your shelves look like? You go into a hardware store and somebody's vertically challenged and they want something and you can't find anybody in the store, or they're not tall enough and they want something. Well, is it too high for them to reach? If you need assistance, maybe there's a big sign. If you need assistance with getting something from an upper shelf, please press this button for assistance. Make it easy. So that's the kind of stuff that I live and dream every single day. I am not the best guy to go to dinner with. I'm not the best guy to observe customer service. I'm the guy that wants to call out that team member in Walmart when they're got a terrible frown on their face and they're unhappy. But believe me, I go up and say, hey, how are you doing today? How's things going? Because I want to change their day because their leader's not doing it. So that is really my passion. It's always been that way. I thank my mother for helping me to be the one who doesn't settle for mediocrity. I want nothing but excellence, and for myself and for the businesses I work with.
And see, that's what makes you an e-hero. You're out there, whether or not they're a client or not, and you're trying to get that passion back into these people. And I think that everybody that's listening, go to Barry's website, take a look at what he's doing, hire him, find out more about how you can, create that culture in your own business. Because honestly, I think that we all need to look at what we're doing internally, externally, and change things. And I think that it's not about just paying the employee more money, because a lot of times that's not the reason they're working for you. It's that they want to feel that they're connected to something bigger. And
value and appreciate your team, give them the tools and the training they need, set expectations, and reward them. Reward them with something as simple as thanks for what you did today. I'm trying to teach that to a bunch of physicians right now. They're busy. They've got lots of patients they see. It's a heck of a busy day. Walk out and tell that medical assistant or tell that physician access person at the front desk, wow, what a day. Thanks for what you did. It's that easy. And, to your point, sure, we all want to make more money, but you'll get that with having a great attitude, being passionate about what you do, bring your best self to work every day. And then your business, at the end of the day, there's so many businesses that are the same. You got to figure out how to be deliberately different. You've got to create the right experience that brings loyalty and brings them back to your business, because I can go anywhere else I want. And I can certainly buy anything I want on Amazon. But it's not the same. I don't have that personal feeling on Amazon. So these brick and mortar buildings that are still in business, you got to step up your game, and you got to create experiences and treat your guests, your customers, your fans, with great respect. And Because without them, guess what? The cash register doesn't ring.
Right. Yeah, and we all need money to pay our bills and keep our businesses running, and we got to treat our employees great, and you know, give them the culture that they want. Well, not necessarily they want, but you want. So this is great. You know,
Exactly.
we could talk about this all day long, but you know, we're running out of time, and I just want to say thanks, and we'll catch everybody else on the next episode. So adios.
Thanks for having me on.